Hi everyone, we are from Group 7. So today we are going to present about The Limping Bride by Samrat Upadhyay. So the question that was given to us is show how and why the author has portrayed human frailty in the short story The Limping Bride. Okay, before that, the summary of the story. The story begins with the tale of a family in modern day Kathmandu. Hiralal, a widowed father who had just lost his wife due to premature death, struggles to control and reform the unpredictable and reckless behavior of his drunken son Moti. In an attempt to fix his son's behavior, Hiralal decides to marry him off with a charming and well-behaved girl named Rukmini. However, Hiralal conceals the fact that Rukmini is Langadi, which means she was born with an impairment that forces her to walk with a limp. When Moti learns that his wife has a disability on the wedding night, he abuses and treats Rukmini horrendously. Unfortunately, as Moti grows increasingly fascinated by her, Hiralal comes to a realization that Rukmini's temperament is not as innocent and subservient as the family was informed. Rukmini makes a move to seduce his father-in-law when she realizes that Hiralal sees his late wife in her. So the author name is Samrat Upadhyay. He is a Nepalese fiction writer. He was born in 1963. So his story collection, his first debut is Arresting God in Kathmandu. This story won the 2001 Whiting Writers Award, and his second short story is The Royal Ghosts. The story won the 2007 Asian American Literary Award, and his latest short story collection, Mad Country, is a finalist for the Aspen Words Literary Prize. So for the novels, his first novel is Guru of Love. It was a New York Times notable book, and his second novel is Buddha's Orphan. It was longlisted for the 2012 DSE Prize for South Asian Literature, and his 2014 novel, The City Sun, was longlisted for the PEN Open Book Award. Uh, he also teaches creative writing at Indiana University. So the main characters in the story are Hiralal, Moti, and Rukmini. Yeah. Okay. The first one is Hiralal. Hiralal is Moti's father. He is married to Ramaya. He wanted his son to get married, as in the story, page 47. Why don't I ask my wife to find someone? Anyone. I think the important thing is to get him married. Him is Moti. And then Hiralal is a good worker and also a driver to a rich businessman. Hiralal worked as a driver for a rich Marwari businessman, Chaudhary Sahib, page 51. And then he also had been working for him for nearly 25 years, giving him bonuses during the Dashain festival and the New Year. And then Hiral also have a secret feeling towards his daughter-in-law, Rukmini. He didn't want to go to his room and face Ramaya's critical eyes. How could he explain to his dead wife how he felt toward his daughter-in-law? A tremendous feeling of guilt washed over him. Page 61.
Okay, the next character is Moti. So one of the first Moti's characteristic was that he is a drunkard. In the text, in page 47, the whole city knows he's a drunkard. That was the example. Okay, besides that, the author also portray him as a really problematic young adult. The example from the text was he never sticks to one job. He always rely on his friend for money, and even at 19, he always wandered through the street, never being sober. And then the third characteristic is he is also very opposed to marriage, even though his father discussed about marrying him. In the example in page 52, he's still against it. And then the next character is Rukmini. Rukmini is Moti's wife. They both got married in an arranged marriage by Hiralal and Rudra's wife. She also portrays a good girl and a good wife image. She is in the story. She is only described as good and beautiful by the other characters. The example was she was indeed beautiful with large, kind eyes and a slim nose. In page 62, she looks like a good girl, he said to Rudra's wife, who responded, she's a very good girl. And then she is also a very good housewife. After their mother passed away, after Moti's mother passed away, she takes care of both Moti and Hiralal's domestic duties. In page 59, she stayed in the kitchen cooking the evening meal for them. In page 58, when Motis woke up, he could listen to the sounds of Rukmini cooking and cleaning. And the last one is that Rukmini is an unfaithful wife. She had a taboo relationship with her own father-in-law. Hiral took Rukmini to Swayambhu. Later on, Rukmini makes a pass at her father-in-law. The example is in page 64 and 65. She, okay, it's okay, next slide. Okay, okay, next slide. Okay, thank you. Okay, through the character of Hiralal, the author are able to depict one of the most prominent human weaknesses, human frailty towards sexual desire. In the story, Hiralal domestic harmony was relied upon his late wife, Ramaya. Uh, Ramaya was like the foundation to both her husband and son's life. She was very important role in their life, and by that, when Rukmini came into the house and take over the woman's place in the household, Hiralal felt this constrained sexual desire towards her. He also had this immoral feeling that evokes within him as well. So the evidence is when in page 58 to 59, as he entered his courtyard, he saw Rukmini seated on Ramaya's straw mat in a patch of sunlight, combing her hair. Hiralal stopped. Rukmini's comb was black, not yellow like Ramaya's, but she too tilted her head as she ran the comb through her hair in long stroke. Okay, and the next slide. Okay, their relationship also progressed because Hiralal constrained sexual desire towards Rukmini also intensified because Rukmini also partakes in it. The evidence is when Hiralal went to Moti's room and then turned on the light. Rukmini's dhoti was laying on the bed, crumpled, part of it spilling to the floor. Hiralal knelt down and smelled it. Yes, it had her smell. He pulled the dhoti to his face and rubbed it against his cheek. Okay, next slide.
Alright, so next I'm going to talk about human frailty that we can observe in the character Rukmini. For the character Rukmini, the human frailty that we can see is disability, although actually disability is not a person's frailty. However, in this story, Rukmini's limping leg becomes her frailty due to society's perception on her. As we can see in the evidence on page 55, Hirala forgot that his daughter-in-law was a Langadi. He hated that ugly word anyway. It reduced this beautiful girl's entire existence to her limp. Next, we can also observe Rukmini frailty when, despite being very beautiful and capable to perform housewife tasks, Rukmini is still regarded as less than a perfect or ideal woman due to her disability. You can see in the evidence stated in the slide, Rukmini is seen to be capable of doing house chores and settling all the house needs, but Hiralal still say that why God cursed such a beautiful girl with a lame foot. Next, for the character Moti, we can see human frailty in the character Moti through the alcoholic behavior in him. Moti has been alcoholic since from a young age. We can see in the evidence, Moti had started drinking when he was 17, which is underage. We can also see Hirala reckons this occur as a consequence of his and his wife's excessive pampering for Moti since he is a little kid. We can see in this short story where Moti's mother sell his bracelet in order to buy Moti a camera, and we can also see in this short story where Hirala imagine Moti lying on the street being a drug addict and alcoholic as the evidence. Next, we can observe human frailty in the character Moti through his anger issue. Moti has hard time controlling his wrath, which leads him to frequent verbal or physical harm to the people around him. There are a number of things that contribute and trigger Moti's anger, such as stress, family problems, irrational thinking due to alcoholism, and also the depression he faced as a result for his mother's death. As we can see in the evidence stated, we can see Moti's aggressive behavior towards his father and also the people around him. Here we can see in page 57 where he said bastard and betrayal to his father when he found out that his wife is actually limp. And we can also in page 57 where they are fighting and everything. So moving on to why. Asyiqin will present this one.
Okay, so the reason why the author portrays the human frailties in the short story, because first, the author wants to show how gender oppression can result to human frailty and causes suffering for both women and men. In this case, Rukmini is forced to be married to a drunkard because she is devalued due to her limping leg in a society where a high expectation is placed on women. Despite being a beautiful woman and also capable of doing housewife tasks, society still thinks that she is less than an ideal wife or woman just because she is born with an impaired leg. And for Hiralal, he is used to women being weak and submissive in the patriarchal society that he fails to see the real side of Rukmini. Rukmini is portrayed as a good girl, innocent and submissive, and because of this, he didn't see the real facade that Rukmini hide behind that. He succumbs to Rukmini's temptations, which eventually left him feeling ashamed and guilty upon his late wife, and also making it awkward between him and his son. Next, it's also to highlight the common use of marriage as a tool to fix human frailties. So the society in this short story has the conception that a marriage can fix a person's bad habits. That's why they often do arrange marriage for their children, whether the children want it or not. In this case, Hirala wants his son, Moti, to change his drinking habit. And then when he shared this problem with his friends, Rudra suggested to just arrange a marriage for Moti because he said that once he has a wife, he'll come to his senses. You can find this evident in page 47. And another reason is because the author also wants to address the issues of underage drinking in Nepal. Alcohol is common among Nepalese society. They present public health risks, and many underage people in Nepal are involved in alcoholism. The legal age for drinking is 18 in Nepal, but Moti, he had begun drinking even when he was 17, which showed that he was still an underage. Next page. So Moti's alcoholic become worsened because of his mother's action on pampering and spoiling him. When Hirala wants to teach Moti's a lesson, he wants to correct him, Ramaya, who was still cooking in the kitchen, actually rushed down the stairs and stood in front of Moti while stretching out her arms, saying that, "Don't you dare hit our son," she told Hirala. So because Hirala is because Hirala very cares about his wife, he didn't dare to do anything that will hurt her feelings. And then the next slide is Okay, so another reason is because the author wants to highlight gender stereotype in society. Men are expected to work and provide financially for the family, while women are expected to stay at home, cook, and settle the house chores. So it is considered a disgrace for women to not get married or get married late. And this is why Rukmini's parents try to rush her to get married, despite knowing that they're gonna get a drunkard and alcoholic person as their son-in-law. And that's it for the reasons.
For the conclusion, a person should never be judged for their disability. We should not limit their freedoms and choices in life just because they are born with disability. And then, over-pampering should not be mistaken as the only way to love and care for children in parenting. And lastly, it is crucial to set boundaries among family members. Don't seduce your father-in-law. Okay, that is that is all from us. Thank you.
Thank you.